Hello, and welcome to Can Corner, the show that features the can from the Guns of Icarus. I'm Abby the Rat, and giving me ideas today is Muse. So a warm welcome from Canvas.
Hello?
Hello.
Canvas is a community manager and clan leader. and joining with Canvas is Shlishra.
Yeah, Shra. Hello.
As with each show, you can ask any questions in Twitch, and at the appropriate moment, I will pass them on to Muse. All recent questions are accepted, but I like to request that we try and focus the questions for Muse as a clan or personal question. Fireside Chat is on a Friday at 3 PM Muse time, Eastern Daylight Time Zone, where you can ask anything about the game. So let me just settle down onto this lounge chair and into a trance to consult my muses. Now, in my personal experience as an online gamer, I very rarely see game developers play or even form their own clans, but you're one of the few exceptions. So what's the reason behind forming a clan?
The big thing is we love being a part of the community, like in every way that we can, so of course when we put in the clan system, we had to put in ourselves. Not to arrogantly get more thumbs up or anything, but if you do want to thumbs up the Muse clan, you definitely should.
Being part of the game company, of course, the game creator, this means that the clan have been around since before Muse Online was even released, making it the oldest clan around. Cheating a bet? Did Muse take part in any events?
Yeah, we've tried to sign up for pretty much any event we can fit into our schedule, kind of thing. Making the game does take a lot of time, so it often turns into me, Howard, and whoever we can scrounge up for the last minutes before an event.
So you're often now just like, hey, there's an event here, can you just join me?
Pretty much, it's you know how you're a community ambassador and you technically volunteer for us. You count as Muse, or we just need a random person. We'll stop whoever talks in global chat first.
Temporarily an intern.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, the reason I haven't been taking part in all the events is that I'm actually also part of the Gens clan. Even though I don't carry the tag, I am more active in the Gens section. I used to have the Gent tag before, and I actually have 2 accounts now. I have one account just for Gens. It's got moderator privileges, but I don't usually use it because it ended up not being too convenient because of the friends list and everything. But yeah, there's some rules that prohibit me from being part of both clans. But I have played for Muse on a couple of occasions, and it was pretty fun. When I was supposed to play for Muse, and Howard was like, yeah, we got a good gunner. But it turned out I was playing for the opposing team, because they were playing against the Gens. I was like, I know one of those Twitch streams were like, yes, and I was like in the Twitch chat, sorry, Howard, you know that I'm playing for the other team. And it was like, no, traitor.
Okay, so I'll probably be asking a bit more about that later on. In fact, you're part of the Muse clan and also the Gent clan. So there will be a question later on. Now, because Muse is also a game company as well as a clan, each member tend to know each other personally. Does that mean that the clan runs in a special way?
As a clan, we don't really run in a special way. I think as a company we do, since we're all friends, so it's very... I want to use the word freeform, but there is a lot of order to it, using things like Trello and whatnot. But the people who have the experience and the knowledge and the expertise kind of get to decide and set the timetables for things. So it's not, hey, we need this feature done now. It's, when can you get this feature done, kind of thing.
Okay. So you're saying that the clan is just more onto the side of when we can find time, and then you have your friends are just like, okay,
Well, so
when are we
the
able to do the features that working around with everything else?
yeah, so the clan side, like, there's no real structure to the clan. Like, I am quote unquote the leader of the clan, but that's only because I had to make it for the rest of the group. But everyone, like, as a clan, we're, you know, just gamers together in our own game, kind of thing.
That's something that I actually would like to comment on, because I have a little bit of experience in the gaming industry. I used to work for 2 years ago, 1 year for Rovio, the maker of Angry Birds. And obviously Angry Birds is not like the kind of game the Guns of Icarus is. Like, it's not multiplayer, but the atmosphere, regardless, is really different, in largely because a lot of us play the game, and because of the the dev hours and some events and so on. And even though I met those guys at Rovio in real life regularly, I still kind of have a more like friendship feel with some people over here, partly because we share the same hobby in our pastime as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I had anyone from Rovio that I actually played games with, even though we were all working for a gaming company, which was kind of fun.
Okay. Now, Muse have actually ran a few competitions, one being the end of the season, and the other was Thunder Dunes. What did you guys learn, and where do you feel that you can improve if you were to run another official competition?
Well, we learned definitely that competitions are tough, like, just amazingly. I have nothing but respect for all the organizers who put in so much time to make these events happen, because it is amazing amounts of work. What we've learned from it is to really rely on a lot of our dedicated players, like the CAs we have ref and stuff, and help us organize. Makes everything run like 100 times smoother, because we don't have to keep track of 20 teams, along with setting up the matches, along with setting up streams and doing all that stuff.
So you're saying that the community is the biggest thing that you want to take on board for next time you do an official event, if you do an official event?
Yeah, I mean, if we do more official events, our goal is always to include the community more and more, as far as playing in the event, and as far as helping run it, because the experience that players have had over their time of creating their events is just invaluable.
So would you agree with this, Sluxware, that it's the community that really makes this event work?
Yeah, well, it's. I also have the kind of experience also from the Gen side that I haven't been keeping track enough of what goes on behind the scenes and so on. But I would agree, yes, in general. I used to be a lot more active on the forums as well, but nowadays I'm just I'm playing a lot of practices and scrims and so on, and sometimes pub games as well. But I should be more up to date on what goes on, actually, to be honest.
Okay. Will there be another official competition?
In some form, if I can help it, no. I mean, so I did love running the competitions, but the way the communities run them, I love running support for the events that the community does. I love running the Muse side support, helping push it out, but just the amount of passion and dedication the community players put in just can't be matched. So the events they've made, as you've seen, they're bigger, they're more fun, they're more active.
Would you, so considering that you want to make the community more prominent, would you be, it's just an idea that popped up here, would you be willing to make it that some of the events that the community run be the official one that Muse endorsed? Would that be a possibility in the future?
Well, so, yes. I mean, like, for the Hephaestus Challenge, we pretty much officially endorsed it, I guess, everything but name. And the scores from the Hephaestus Challenge make up the clan leaderboards right now, so.
Yeah, the Hephaestus Challenge was one of the best. But then I'm fairly new, so I haven't really had that much experience with the last few big tournaments that were run by the community, or even by Muse. But the Hitachi Challenge was getting pretty good. So the tournament event that run by the company was just huge. So the next question I have to ask is, let's talk about Sky Whales. I had to ask about the Sky Whale because it's everywhere and nowhere. It's just like how they should be. How did it become Muse mascot?
Well, it's. I wouldn't say the Sky Whale is truly our mascot. The Sky Whale is the inside joke for the entire community. I want to say Lord Dick Tim was the first person to talk about it, but I could be completely wrong on that. Like, it's something that when you have basically sailing arrow-looking ships in the sky, people think of whaling, and apparently sky whales became a thing. And even since the beta, it's been the joke that there's going to be sky whales. That sky whales are a thing.
Do you have a mascot?
I don't think so. We did get some lovely fan art of the Musosaur, which was a T-Rex being held aloft by balloons. It was an amazing little sketch, but...
Okay, so my opinion is you should adopt the Sky Whale as your official mascot. You don't have to show it, you don't have to make anything for it, but it's
well,
official.
the art team has actually made some concept art for sky whales, and I think it's all for fun.
I think I remember there was one picture floating around on the internet with, and in the background there was a model of the Sky Whales behind Bubbles, I think it was. So
yeah,
that's floating around. So I think if you Google Sky Whales and Bubbles, you'll probably find it. I can't guarantee that. Okay, so
one thing. I remember when I think it was during one Fireside chat that there was a question about Skulls, and I think it was Yuma who said that like there's I think it was in development or there's this Skywell thing that will be there, but it's always behind the player. But unfortunately, even when you turn around, it's still going to be behind you, so you never see it. Something like that.
That sounds like Howard's kind of answer.
Okay, so we'll come on to the more recent events. The Hepatitis Challenge. Now, while Musosaurus came last in the Hammer division, he won overall last. There was one match he pulled off the biggest upset in the event against the Clamorous, leading the match to the end and putting out a win at the very last minute. A lot of people weren't expecting this. How did you pull this upset off?
I wish I could say there was like some technique or some secret power we tapped into, but it was really just getting kind of lucky with the wins and being able to, I don't know, use myself as bait was, I guess, one of the biggest things. They saw the goldfish and they thought they could, grab me, and they went out of position above the buildings, and then we were able to pop the balloons and grab kills. But I mean, it could have gone either way. As the last kill went, like, we thought we lost.
I was actually a member on one of the on the ship, and we were both going, no, wait, what? It was a very exciting match. I recommend anyone who's interested in Guns N' Roses to watch that match, because it was just tight. Even the commentators were like, the Musosaurus lost, and it was wrong. Okay, so...
Actually, I wasn't part of that game, but I was playing for Muse a couple of months earlier when we also played against the Ducks. I think it wasn't the Clamor, it was the other team. But and we ended up losing the battle, but we did win one round. I remember that, and I remember that was a huge achievement for us back then. But yeah, I was also like really surprised that this thing happened.
Yeah.
But not in a positive way, of course.
Now, obviously, you had a big upset, and the reason that it's so surprising is because it's a running joke within the Guns N' Roses community that Musosaurus is the easiest team to beat in the game. It's like the if you lose to Musosaurus, it's not a good idea. What do you think holds you back from being much better? What do you think makes you become this running joke?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. The first being our competitive teams are very competitive. They practice together. They're like in sync with each other's moves. We don't practice. We spend most of our day like making the game, running the day-to-day, and then sleeping when we get the chance. So that definitely holds us back on one side. And another is cohesion, because a lot of the time a lot of the team for their weekends, which is when the events happen, kind of take it easy, try to, relax so they don't take part in the event. So we're scrambling to grab people so we don't have the same cohesion that other teams do. It's basically whatever CAs are on, then we can be, hey, are you going to be on this time, and are you not in a competitive match already?
So you're saying there's a bit of a lack of cohesion between you and your team, whoever you manage to grab?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you trying to do to improve the Mosasaurus lack of cohesion?
Well, the real thing we've focused on is getting like some more permanent members. Like, even though they're not truly Muse, like Zemco, we've stolen for a couple games, and he's just an amazing gunner, and he was actually the reason we won against the Clamor in the Hephaestus Challenge.
Okay. So you're saying, right, we like you, we want you more often, would you be willing to help us out every time we fly?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, looking back over the events that Mosasaurus have attended, have you noticed any improvement to your skills at different classes in the game as a clan? Was there any improvement?
Well, yeah, getting Zemco recently was definitely the biggest improvement to our team. Beyond that, it's hard to tell if we're getting better, because I feel like a lot of the players in the game are getting better faster than us. So any skills we're gaining are being quickly swatted down.
Yeah, but at the same time, by playing the event, don't you see like new tactics that you could say, oh, we can do that? And
yeah, no, I mean that's part of the reason I love joining competitive games, is you get to see just the top tier of play. I mean, it doesn't get better than the competitive events. No one plays better than they do in the competitive events. And you get to see new techniques and the way people fly and just make ships work in ways that we didn't think so.
yeah. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the question. Muse tend to have a lot of, I wouldn't say temporary, because usually once they join Muse, they sort of stay as within the Muse clan. But a lot of the interns have, let's call it a dual clanship. So they're often in Muse and they're often in another clan. After Lestwell is in the Jenks, but he's also in Muse. Same for Thomas B. He's part of the Holy Roman Army, but he's also part of Muse. Do you feel that this is will benefit the competitive team, or does that kind of makes it harder?
Well, I mean, it definitely makes it harder on a competitive side, but I think as far as bringing in different flavors and knowledge to the team from a organizational standpoint, I really enjoy it. The reason a lot of our interns are part of clans is because they were CAs and they were big parts of the community, and when you're a big part of the community, you're normally part of a clan. And they get to bring in the gent flavor or the Holy Roman flavor or the cake flavor in Jacob's case, and it's just new ideas brought to the team, which are all good things.
So, how did you manage it, Shosra?
Yeah, as Kivajas said, that a lot of the interns are usually CAs and mods, and I was also a CA and mod, and I do like the idea that I can play for two clans if the situation allows for it, and I also like the idea of sort of I'm not saying that Muse is as a clan inexperienced in the competitive scene, because they're a lot old, but they're really old in a sense, probably older than Gens. But it is true when Matt said that there may be some troubles with with different players coming in and out. But I was thinking that it could be fun if Zemko is a really good gunner, and I think it could be fun to surprise Howard one day and say that, okay, me and Zemko are both gonna play for Muse on some competitive game, because Howard before wanted me as a gunner, and then he got Zemko, and then he will get both on different ships. I think he would be really happy to see that one day. Could be fun. We could have one ship with a Carnet and the other one with a Lumberjack. We could have a friendly competition between Zemko who pops the most balloons.
Okay, I just one quick thing. Can you move your webcam down slightly? Because it's slowly falling off the bottom of the screen. I know you see the eye just peeking over your label. You're like becoming one with your label.
Hold on. I'm on a laptop and I'm in a beanbag chair, so I'm trying to adjust it so that it's not disturbing. Luckily, it's a light MacBook, so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So once you become Muse, you become sort of like a permanent part of the Muse clan, even though internship just comes and goes. So, would you say that your clan is growing because of this? It's very slowly growing.
In some ways, I guess it's growing, and but I mean, it's not really our goal to grow the clan. The clan is really just an outlet for us to be a part of the community, and it's great to have new members in it and stuff. But it's not really an organizational tool that we use as much, since we all use Skype and Trello and Google to talk to each other and organize stuff.
Yeah. So it just happened to be a side effect, a happy one. But.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Muse run an event every week, one being Beat the Developers on Tuesday and Thursday at 1 PM Muse time. Was it 1 PM Muse time, Canvas?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, 1 PM Muse time. And on every Friday you run Fireside, a live stream of developers answering questions from the community, and this is very rare across other games. Let's start with the Fireside. How did the Fireside come about?
Well, we got to see some developer diaries from other games where they'd come up and they'd say, oh, they'd put out a video saying this is what we worked on this week, and we thought, it's a really cool idea. I mean, a lot of people don't get to see what it's like from the developer side and what we're working on. We'd love to, the community to understand what we're working on, what we're worried about, what we want, to improve in the game. But we wanted it to be a lot more interactive because, yeah, there are things we want to talk about, but there are questions that people have that we don't think of. We don't think of, oh, they want to know about this or what we're doing about this part of the spawn system. And to just talk with us means a lot to them, and it means a lot to us to hear them, that they care. They're like, well, these are the things that we're passionate about.
Okay. First, I have to recommend, if you enjoy the game, you should watch Fireside, because it is, as Ken was saying, a very interactive forum. And you get to hear a lot of ideas that probably won't come out until later on in the year, or maybe even next year, or 2 years. But you get to hear a lot of the ideas that come out, so it's worth watching every Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, which happens to be 8 o'clock in Britain, for those who understand the Britain time. I think, unless I fail maths, but maybe I fail maths. What about Beat the Devs? What brought Beat the Devs back to life?
So Beat the Devs, it started from trying to find ways to be a bigger part of the community. We didn't want to be devs who just made a game and said, okay, you guys just, play amongst yourselves and we'll be up here in the clouds, making changes. We wanted it to be Like, we wanted people to, see us play, we wanted to see how people played, and just get a real feel of it, not just the fake feeling of playing amongst ourselves. And we thought the best way is if we grabbed the developers and just played in the game, like, and just set a time and said, listen, let's have everyone show up, let's make it fun, let's make it big, kind of thing.
Yeah, I also understand this from my Bubbles himself, who was unfortunately wasn't able to make it this week. I was hoping, but he's still coming back from PAC. That Muse actually loves giving items and they want to so like, oh, this would be a great prize. Let's give some items, because the cosmetic items, it's not a big thing. It's not going to make you better anything, but it makes you more pretty, and Muse love to be able to give back.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely one of our favorite things to be able to give out items. Like, the cash shop right now, for the some of the cosmetic items, like, it's a necessary evil to, like, keep our artists on and have them keep making items and adding things into the game. So we like it when we get to, be nice and just give things out for free.
It's like a little reward for yourself as well, because like, it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What sort of events would you like to see Muse put on for the future? Would there be new ideas and new events that you might end up putting on for the week?
I know there's really, it's kind of odd, because if there was, like, an idea that I really wanted to do, it would, like, that would be all my effort into. Like, I'm really happy with our current ideas. I'd love to see more lore-oriented things. I mean, that's always being worked on in the background for us, though, and we're figuring out the best way to include that in the game, show it off, and, have players have their own sort of lore and history kind of thing.
Yeah. Talking about lore history and having players have their own lore history, so it's like adding background stories to characters, people that have profiles and stuff. Is that's the sort of ideas you were thinking of?
Yeah, well, so we wanted, a lot of players have really deep ideas about who their character is, the way the character is. And that's the reason we wanted to give those little text box of information and give people the opportunity to kind of show it off a little bit more.
It's interesting to say that, because next week I will be having the Storm Riders, and along talking with them, I have discovered that very much lore based, and there's a lot of things that this sort of thing would really appeal to them. So it was interesting to hear that. Okay, so we're now coming on to the personal questions of the Can Corners. We ask the questions about the players themselves. As with last Can Corner, we start with some basic Guns of Icarus questions. Let's start. What's your favourite maps? We'll start with Canvas, and then we'll move on to Siswa.
Alright, I would say Fjords, because it has a little bit of everything. So it's open enough that you can have a sniping match, but there are little sideways you can take, there are things to go over and around, and there's plenty of cloud cover to ambush people in.
So what's your favourite maps?
Well, actually, perhaps surprisingly, one of my favorite maps is Labyrinth. Probably because it's not played very often. Unfortunately, I think it's pretty much never played in competitive games, but I really like the close quarters thing, and I also like the tactical aspect of the capture the point, the King of the Hill. And a close second is You'll at Dawn, because I really like close range maps, and especially the kind of challenge of using a lumberjack in a map like that, because you really have to be tactical so that you don't get too close to the enemy if you want to use guns with an arming time. So those are two favorites.
Okay. The next one, move on to ships. What's your favorites, and why is it your favorites?
Goldfish all the way. Just the way it moves. You can just pull off so many maneuvers with the goldfish.
Yeah, same here. Both from a gunner's and a pilot's perspective. I like maneuvering the goldfish, and I especially like being the gunner on a lumberjack or if the team composition allows for it, even a flatfish, but that's really rare nowadays.
Yeah, that goldfish is a fairly small one. It's bigger than the squid, and it's fairly light, but it's one of those ships that has the big, heavy guns on the front. And it's the only ship where you have a lot of firepower with a lot of mobility. You have the Sparrow, which is very tall with lots of guns and immense amounts of firepower, but it is slow and it is a glass cannon. With the Goldfish, it's not too bad. It's sort of like midway between a lot of the ships, slightly below midway. But it is. I do understand it is very fun. You can swing around buildings in the labyrinth in the Parsum Rumble, and there's so many different options. But my personal feeling is that the Goldfish doesn't need a lot of support from its allies because it only has that one heavy gun and a side gun that's kind of it can be caught out from behind quite easily compared to some of the other ships that I've flown.
Although I have to mention that what I've seen, I've tried to duplicate this myself, but I've seen a lot of really good pilots with a carronade fish completely pin down one or sometimes even two enemies completely, and that is a possibility. Like for instance, the Metamidian with a Gatling mortar is really effective at killing, and the carronade goldfish in the hands of a good pilot is excellent at both disabling the enemy balloons, engines, and guns. And you can even kill with it with some help from gravity.
Okay, so let's move on to what's your favourite class in the game, and why is it your favourite class in the game?
Pilot, but that's because I'm a control freak. I love being able to set the fight when we run, when we push in, the distance the combat's going to happen, the aggression.
Yeah, I would say that my favorite class is gunner at the moment. I used to play a lot more pilot, but in total, I think I've got like 2,500 or so games. And when you look at the pie chart, kind of when you open the profile, I think it's almost 33% of each. Like it's really even. But lately, I've been playing a lot of gunner, and I'm also a gunner in our competitive team. So
yeah, it's interesting to hear about the pilot being the favourite. So far, half of my guests in the previous clan corners had been pilots, and like Kivas has said, it's all about you get a lot of control over your ships. You control the engagements. You are responsible for the 3 people under your command. And it seems like that a lot of people seem to enjoy that responsibility and that abilities. Okay, so do you have a favourite weapon?
Lumberjack, definitely. Again, it's a control thing. You get to start fights at the longest range, and you can even use it pretty close if your gunner is skilled enough. You can completely dominate a ship just using that, making it, to me, one of the really only weapons the Goldfish excels with.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like a copycat, but it's
Lumberjack is a very long-range arching weapon. It travels on some maps all the way to the other end of the map with the right loadout. It's extremely effective against the balloon, so it will pretty much pop the balloon in 2 hits, I think it was, with the right.
I think if it's buffed, it can take it down in 2 hits, but otherwise it needs 3. Okay. And it also, of course, depends if the enemy engineer gets a mallet hit, and that make a difference.
Yeah. But it does do a lot of damage. But it has a very slow rate of fire. So if your balloon pops, it will quite often it will keep you down because you just keep hitting at the right moment, when the balloon comes back up, it will hit it, then the balloon's gone, and it'll just slowly grind out against the ground or buildings as the Muse managed to do on the against the camera. The name Muse make me think of the nine Greek goddess of epic poetry, history, song, lyrical poetry, tragedy, hymns, dance, comedy, and astrology, where they bring their ideas to the respective domain. Who had inspired you, and why are they your muse?
I don't know. I've always tried to play a lot of games, or different types of games, and even more so once I started getting into the games industry, because I love experiencing all the mechanics that other people design. It's sort of like writing, being an author and reading a bunch of different types of books to see how people treat their characters and how they do that, and it's the same for this. My inspiration or muse, though, it's hard to pin down since it's just an amalgamation of so many different types and so many different writers. I will say, at least from a critical standpoint, I really love the voices of Yahtzee, Total Biscuit, and Jim Sterling, who are all great game critics, and they have a really just insightful... Oh, and the Extra Credit guys. Those four really, I think, have a good bead on what's great about the industry and things that could be improved on.
Okay. Is Shishwa?
I'm gonna have to admit that. Can you please repeat the question in brief? I'm not sure what the actual question was, even though I heard the answer.
Okay. Basically, who inspired you? Or what inspired you? And can we say? And why then your muse?
The name Muse.
No, who are your muses? Like, who inspires you from a game development or game industry standpoint?
Oh, I think, did we just lose? I think we might have just lost him. Yeah, he's just gone frozen, so I will go back to him when we get a moment.
Okay.
But we move on to the next question. What's your most memorable moment with the clan?
Most memorable moment. That's a tough one. Like, there's so staying up and helping with. Oh yeah, so I guess one of the most memorable moments would probably be Thanksgiving Day, almost 2 years ago now, which was our first daily deal. And it was massive for us. Like, it was the first time Steam had really featured us in a big way. And I was still just an intern at the time, but I was on for like 18 hours straight, trying to make sure everything went all right, helping when server things exploded. It was amazingly stressful, but it was an amazing amount of fun.
Okay, so we'll go back to the question here. Who inspired you? And why did they inspire you, Shlestra?
Yeah, who inspired me? I don't think there is actually any one person. It's just like, it's a collection of experiences. It's been like pretty much my main hobby since I was a kid, like gaming in general. Although, if I have to name one name, no, I'm sorry. I've got no one name that I can name. So I'm just gonna pass that question if it's okay.
Okay. So we move on. What's your most memorable moment with the clan?
Well, what most memorable moment? So is this like during I've been in Muse, or
with the clan Muse?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure if this counts, but it was like amazing the moment that I actually got to join the team, because I'm just gonna have to say that's the best part, because I wasn't expecting to be like, well, I was kind of, I thought that I had a chance of becoming part of Muse, but as a student and as someone who doesn't have direct experience from my current position, it was like a really memorable moment when Kivajas contacted me. And actually, I think it was like it was so that Kivajas told me that okay, check out your forum status or something, and then I checked and I suddenly had the Muse tag, and I was like, what's going on? But yeah, that was the most memorable moment, even though it's a cliche to be, but still, yeah. I'm getting excited thinking about it.
Okay, well, I'm just going to answer a question. So, someone from Dudley Mans was asking, why are there no recordings from the past streams? Is that because of the way Twitch is doing things now with the past recording? It only keeps 60 days for not 60 days, for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, sorry, not 60 days. I don't know where I got the number 60 days from. For 2 weeks, and then it will delete it unless you turn it either into a highlight, which is limited to about 2 hours long, or export it to YouTube. I do both of those, so if you check my highlights, you will see my past streams, with the exception of Cake, and I think with the exception of Cake, which was my first video. But you can also check out my YouTube is Abby the Rat as well, and you will see my past Can Corner videos there as well. And okay, back to the question for Muse. What laws would you like to see fleshed out or made canon?
As far as lore goes, I'd love a lot of the work that's happening in the background right now. Factions. I'd just love to see their philosophies and their ideas and the reasons they are the way they are brought more into the forefront, especially since you players are going to be choosing which factions you want, and I want you guys to know about them. I want you guys to say, oh, I chose this one because I believe in what they're doing or how they're doing it, and I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Sean, what laws do you want to see?
Yeah, that's basically more or less the same thing. I mean, this is not directly related to Muse, but like within the gens, we've been talking about like what we're gonna do with the lore in a sense, like there's this thing about tea trading and so on. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but like that's something that we want to make part of who we are as a clan. And yeah, that's one of the things that I'm looking most forward to. Making like a history for us, in a sense, of being part of that.
Okay. Everyone has opinion about what can be done about the game. So naturally we all have some sort of ideas. And we need to ignore the fact that you guys are from Muse and you already know all the ideas that you guys want to see in the game. So, ignoring that, what ideas do you want to see in the game?
I want to see matchmaking in the game. It's partly because I've been working on it for months, but mostly because there's a lot of issues we have right now that matchmaking will solve, and there's a lot of frustration that players deal with. They'll be like, oh, there's no one on, I can't find a game, when we've got, 300 people on. It's like, okay, well, if you can't find a game and there's 300 people on, we've done something wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're very often finding that you have like several lobbies all half open, all just waiting for another person to come in.
Yeah, but it's really the half-filled lobbies which causes most of the issue.
Yeah, because everyone says that. We make our own match, we want to join with the team, we want to do that, etc., and not quite often it gets spread out. So that's the issue that you were hoping to solve with matchmaking.
Yeah.
Plus a few others.
Yeah.
So that's the idea you want to see. Is there any silly ideas that you know will never be in that you want to see?
Silly ideas that I'd like to see, but I know will never be in. That's kind of hard to say. I guess I got one. And I never want to say never on this one, but the planes that we've built for co-op mode to be player controlled. Like, not like flown, but like, you know, you're on your ship and you summon a fleet of planes kind of thing. To me, that would be hilarious and awesome.
That doesn't sound very awesome. So co-op, just to mention co-op mode, for those who don't know, there's an expansion coming out in the future called the co-op mode, which is going to be based in Guns N' Roses, and it'd be players versus the environment. It'd be AI controlled buses, and I was able to take part in the co-op a few days ago, helping out with that pack when it was being showcased in the pack. It is very fun, and honestly, I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you guys get to see that soon. What ideas would you like to see in the game?
Well, I recently played some Divinity, and the one thing that I like about it is like how well they've incorporated the elements. And as a gunner in Guns Vickers, I think it would be awesome to see some kind of elements in the gunning world. Like, in a sense, we already have the flamer, of course, like fire damage. But if you had something related to stuff like water, earth, and air and lightning and so on. Like, if we had a lightning gun, that would be cool, although probably hard to balance. And a water gun would be fun if you could like push with the power of the stream of water. You could push enemy ships off arc and so on. And I'm not sure about the others. Like, if you had an earth gun, you could maybe create a flying like piece of rock that would block the enemy from shooting or flying to you. And I don't know about the air thing. If you could like something like use it as an extra engine. Like if you could have like on the back of a squid an air gun that would give you an air boost of speed whenever a gunner was firing with it or something like that. That could be fun.
That's an interesting idea. Oh. We have a question in Twitch chat. Mark ABM said someone was talking about a carrier. I think the aircraft carrier in co-op mode.
Yeah, in co-op mode, the idea is that we've been looking at is maybe having a carrier for the AI to basically give an enemy type that isn't trying to murder you outright. Like, it's hiding in the back, it's skulking around, just launching ships. So it gives you a reason to go out of your safety zone to take care of it. I definitely don't see that for a player ship kind of thing. There'd be a lot more work that'd have to make that basically PvP balanced.
Yeah. That was a small fly bugging me. Oh. Okay, does Switch have any more questions that you guys would like to see? Is that now I'm near the end of the show? Just type it away on the on the Twitch chat channel. So meanwhile, while I wait for any more questions to pop up, has it been fun? Has your time with Muse been fun?
Definitely. It's very interesting to get to play with the developers and like everyone together kind of thing. It's really interesting to see the way everyone views the game differently when we've all built the same game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, say.
Yeah, I have to concur. I think it's awesome because, like, I started out just like I got into Guns N' Roses through a couple of friends that I bought the 4-pack, and I was like, "There's this cool team game, and we're gonna start playing. Do you want to join?" And sure, I wanted to join. And then, like 2,000 games later, I had a lot of experience. I'd made friends in the community, CA, and so on. And then after, like, even becoming part of Muse, it's just like it's been like probably one of the best gaming experiences in my life, in a sense, Guns N' Roses and being part of Muse, both. like what Kiva said, like being able to play the game with other developers, even though I came in a lot later than the others, and I haven't written any code or so on. I still find it like awesome to be part of playing a game as kind of a developer, even though I'm an intern, and yeah, liking the game and being able to make it and the community better in a sense.
Yeah. Do you guys have some sort of other games that you like to enjoy playing at this moment in time?
I know I try to play a little bit of everything. I'm a Steam sale just massive consumer, just to kind of get a little bit of every flavor in there. As far as games that I'm really hooked into, though, beyond Guns of Icarus, I mean, so it really depends on what my group of friends is playing. Like, I kind of hop around with whatever's happening there. Like, the recent one we've been playing is Mount Your Friends, which is just a hilarious game. Very simple, but very fun.
Yeah, so I've seen you playing so many... I'm not a stalker, just say I'm not a stalker. I don't actually know what Kiva is going up playing, but, you know, you've been playing quite a few other games. Yes, I am talking what games are you playing at the moment, outside Guns of Icarus?
Yeah, I've got this group of friends that I'm also invited to the Guns of Icarus that I've been known for like more than 10 years, and we played some Payday 2 a while ago, and now we played Divinity with one friend, and 7 Days to Die, which is kind of a mix of Minecraft and zombie survival FPS, which is awesome because you don't just get to fight the zombies, but also like build stuff. And yeah, it's still in the alpha stage, but I think it's one of the advertised games on Steam as well. It's a really good game.
Okay. Which team's your favourite? Red or blue?
I mean, I'd like to say red because red's my favorite color, but really, I've never had a preference for the colors in or which side I'm on in game. To me, I know this is probably going to show my ignorance as a tactical captain, but to me, I like the organic feeling. I'd almost like to not know which side I'm on, kind of thing. I'd like to just be put somewhere and then have to figure out where to go from there.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to say the same thing in the sense that like I don't have a favorite, although in a sense I prefer red nowadays because I've also played some Robocraft, and there in the game Robocraft they've made it so that the enemy is always red and you're always on the blue team, which is kind of a silly reason, but I still like red because of that more, because I play blue on the blue team too much in that game.
Okay, so
Yes,
me it's the blue team because I often end up on the red every time I join the lobby. Especially, you know, when you start a lobby, you're always on the red side team, and usually if the red side gets stacked. Especially if a can is practicing for the first time, or they're practicing for that day, and they don't have anyone to fight against. They will just stack on the red side, and then you're always going in the blue side. So I want to support the underdog, so blue side for me. Mark says there are no teams, only targets. Okay, so we've got a couple more minutes since we delayed. It was not quite 60 minutes yet. And we're not getting any questions in that in the Twitch chat, unfortunately. I think we must have kept them well informed on the various questions that people want to know. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask me?
I'm personally good. I feel like we've had a solid near hour myself, but Schwer, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna have to make this a comment and then a question. Like, first of all, I have to thank you for putting effort into making this thing, because I think it's really cool that we get these clan corners and a question. Even though I have also done a lot of stuff, how do you find the motivation and time to do everything? Because you've done a lot for the community, to be honest. What is the secret?
Pardon?
What is the secret?
What's the secret?
Yeah, that you find so much motivation and time to do everything for the community.
Oh, what's the
Also
secret?
behind the scenes.
Well, first off, to find some time, I'm actually a stay-at-home mother at the moment, so I don't actually have a job as such right now, although I am looking because I need to fill out some of my other times. I'm a stay-at-home mother, so I get to spend time with my kids. I get to spend time playing the game and enjoy the community. And I came to Guns N' Icarus after I was playing League of Legends, which a lot of people tend to know. The community there is a bit of a mostly myth than you get hits. It can be very, the term they use is toxic. It can be very stressful. So then that's where I came to Guns N' Icarus. It was a breath of fresh air, and I went to say, oh, I actually want to help out. I want to put my effort in and improve the community. And so I've actually been looking at ways that I can join in. So I tried casting a while back, but I sort of struggle because I don't get excited watching things. I don't show it very well through my voice, which is what the problem is with that. If people are listening to me, I have to make my excitement show in my voice, and my hard of hearing it's tricky. I don't have flow, I don't have pacing. Yeah, so I thought, well, okay, what about a talk show that talk to the people in the community, and I came upon the idea of meeting clan members. And I thought, well, the clans so far only have either the website or in-game, and there had been a lot of effort to promote the clans more. There's a more solid feel to clans now in the game, but there's still not that much link to outside the game. So there's no links to websites from within the game. There's no links from within the website. So I wanted to give the clans a way to say, look, this is what we do. We enjoy roleplay, or we enjoy playing the competitive stage. We've got history, or we're really new and we want more people, or things like that. And hopefully, when people come to watch this thing, they're like, oh hey, I really want to join that team, that clan, and that's my fingers crossed. And see if I can improve my viewers and keep them coming back.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool thing, and it's something the community is going to benefit a lot from.
Yeah. Let's see. So we've got 1 minute left. We've got 1 minute left. Any last words before I go? Bye-bye. Go away. Yeah. Any last words? Nope. Okay. Fine.
One more thing. I probably shouldn't say this about Skyway. Never mind.
You shouldn't say it about Skyway. Never mind. Oh.
Just trying to cause trouble. Well,
No. I would never.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Abby. It's definitely been a blast.
Oh. Might have been asked before, but how was working for Muse by Westburn? Yeah, we did answer that earlier. It's been mostly fun, right?
Yeah, no, it's an amazing experience. It's when I was in 4th grade, my dream job would be to develop games, and there was a large portion of my life I thought it was kind of never going to happen, and being a part of a dev team has been more fun, more engaging, and just more meaningful to me than I even thought possible.
You want to say a look at it? Let's try.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing for me. Like it's a combination of 3 things why it's awesome. It's like, first, it's been my primary hobby since I was a kid, and like gaming, and then to be able to be a part of Muse, which is a company that plays its own game, and the Guns of Icarus as a game is one of my favorite games, obviously. So it's awesome because of those three things.
Okay, I think now we hit the end, but finally. Well, not finally, I don't want it to end. I like to keep talking, I want to have more time, but it has been 16 minutes, so it's time to say goodbye. The Muse has fled me. Alas, it is the end. It's the current course for Canvas, and this was, I'm so sorry for murdering his pronunciation, but I tried. I really tried.
Yeah. And as I've said before, I always smile when someone tries to pronounce my name because it's not easy. I've seen it. There are some difficulties, except for some German speakers, of course.
And from me, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, to take our final bow. That's it.
See ya.
Hi, everyone.
Next week, there's something viewing upon the sky. We have the Storm Raiders. Attending with me is Herton and Archer. I've been Abby Rat, your silly host. Good night.